Good evening and welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging, and thank you for joining us tonight for this special spooktacular one-shot. We're going to be playing a brand new game by Grant Howitt and Will Kirby, published by Rowan, Rook, and Decard, called EAT the Reich. It's a lot of fun. We're gonna punch some Nazis and deal with some supernatural threats and enjoy ourselves. But before we get that far, I'm gonna have the players introduce themselves, and they're gonna tell us their favorite vampire movie, book, or cartoon. You'll get to actually meet their characters once the story gets moving. So let's start with Ashley.
Yeah, I'm playing Flint. My favorite vampire show was Castlevania. Queen of the Damned was very transformative in my life growing that awakened some things in me. And yeah, good movies. Also, I think Blade. So I'm all over the place.
No, that's all good stuff. All right. Long. How about you?
So
favorite vampire movie?
Vampire media, I've actually seen not much. But I'm going to go with something I do know, which is anime. So Kizu Monogatari is a 3-part series movie that involves vampires, and that's a good one.
Nice. I've not heard of that. I will have to look that one up. Jeff?
Hey, I'm playing Chuck, which is hilarious for so many reasons. But so many. I really have a fondness for Lost Boys because vampires in the 80s go together really well. Near Dark is a great movie. Aaron and I were talking about that before stream. That's a really, really good movie, often overlooked. Book-wise, I am a sucker for old school Dracula, Bram Stoker's. I love, I've taught it in class before, just like the epistolary form and everything is really cool. So yeah. I would say that works.
I like it. Melissa?
So I'm playing Arena, and for me, the first kind of vampire movie that I really remember watching is Blade.
Nice. And not to be left out, I will say a couple of my favorite vampire books, other than Bram Stoker's Dracula, is John Stakely's Vampires, the novel, not the movie. Not that the movie was bad, but the novel was much better, and Midnight Mass by F. Paul Wilson. And if you want some vampiric comedy, I'm going back to 1979 with Love at First Bite, starring George Hamilton and Susan St. James. But that's enough of that. It's time for us to jump into some fun. The year is 1943, and Europe is at war. The Allied forces created a loose-knit organization of vampires, walking corpses, morally gray necromancers, and one hell of an administrative staff 6 months ago as their last chance at victory against the Axis forces. This organization is codenamed FANG. No, FANG does not stand for anything. Our camera focuses in on the interior of a modified B-32 Dominator bomber, outfitted with state-of-the-art sorceress obfuscation plating and a tactical drop coffin deployment system. Quartermaster's note: a tactical drop coffin is a reinforced steel box rigged with pressurized cylinders of premium high-quality nun's blood. Footnote to the Q note: said blood is willingly donated by members of FANG's on-site convent, Our Lady of Perpetual Ruin. Now back to the show. As our camera pans, we see the interior of the bomber is illuminated by dull red light that washes the hangar bay in shades of blood. Sergeant Major Rust paces back and forth on steel plates. Now listen up, you deadbeat, long-toothed coffin huggers. This last 6 months has led us to this point. This is the final move. To recap, your mission is to drop into Paris, outside the Eiffel Tower's wards. Strike through the city, engaging the Nazi scum as required, to gain access to the Führer's Zeppelin atop said tower. There you will drain Hitler dry and throw his broken carcass to the pavement below. Make no mistake, it will be hell on the ground. The Nazis are as thick in the city as a cloud of flies on a pile of dog crap. But I have faith. Carnage is your art form. So get down there and pick me a masterpiece. Hoorah! With that, Sergeant Major Rust walks over to the large lever mounted towards the front of the bomber. May God or the devil watch your back. Now get it done. Rust salutes the drop coffins as the lever is thrown, the hatches open, and the coffins fall towards Paris as the sun dips below the horizon in the west. Our camera pans down and looks as the coffins silently fly at terminal velocity towards the ground. First, we see Paris at a distance, and then slowly it comes into focus. We see ourselves falling faster and faster. We're above a cathedral. It looks like, yes, the coffins are targeting a cathedral as they fall. We look inside through the stained glass windows, and we see an SS Obersturmbannführer standing, it appears, waiting at the head of a wedding party. The pews are full. A bride is marching up the aisle. And then a cacophony of noise as the first coffin strikes the ceiling. Burrowing through, the bells in the steeple break free and crash down into the altar. One by one, the 4 coffins strike through and hit the ground. All we hear is screaming and terror as the crowds duck beneath the pews. The officer at the front, the bridegroom, scuttling back, mewling like a child, pulling aback, terrified. The 2 squadron of honor guard fall behind pews. And then silence. Absolute silence. The rafters creak. The dust begins to settle. People begin to look up from behind the pews. The Nazi officers who were there to attend the wedding, some begin to chuckle. The bombs did not explode. But near the front, the SS Obersturmbannführer, he knows. He sees the silver boxes, and he understands. He squeals and jumps to his feet and runs down the length of the cathedral, slams into his would-be bride, knocking her to the ground, throws open the doors and screams, "Vampiri!" as he runs down the stairs. Everyone looks at him, confused, not understanding. And then we hear the seals on the coffins begin to break. Within those coffins, our 4 would-be commandos had been reduced to viscera and boiling blood, broken bones, pulped flesh, and bile, until that nun's blood had filled the coffins, feeding them, nurturing them, reforming them. But they are hungry. They are ever so hungry. And first coffin to burst free from its lid is Flint's. Ashley, tell us about Flint, and tell us what Flint looks like, and then tell us what Flint does.
So Flint was born in a cave, and they were driven out by Nazis. So they have a bit of a vendetta. He's half bat, half human, mostly bat. Because that's all you see come bursting out of here is just wings with like talons, sharp talons at the end, his little feet with sharp talons. And you just hear as this thing bursts out and immediately just starts attacking the nearest Nazi operative.
So what we in this game, the mechanics of this game are as follows. So For everybody at home watching, you have an objective. So in a cinematic location, you have something that you need to accomplish to move out of that location and move yourself one step closer to the Eiffel Tower and the Führer's Zeppelin at the top. So here at the St. Medard Church, the objective is to punch a hole in the attacking lines and get out of there. It takes 8 successes to get through this objective. As I've said, you see 2 squadron of enemy Nazi infantry who are the honor guard for this, and they will be resisting you getting through that objective. So what happens at this point is Flint will describe what he's doing.
So
go ahead.
If we're trying to get out of here to head to like the next location, then Flint will scramble to like the nearest door, obviously, and deal with anybody who's there so that whoever's next can get the door open and we can get out.
Okay. So what you'll do then is you pick one of your stats. Brawl, con, which is like lying, fix, which is literally repairing things or modifying structures, search is looking for ways to get through things, shoot is shooting, sneak is sneaking, and terrify is scare the crap out of people. You pick one of those, and you roll the dice pool associated with that. If you have any equipment that you want to use or any blood powers you want to use to help that, those add additional dice. Now, I had told everybody at the beginning, because of the horrible injuries they sustained due to the drop, they're all only set at 1 blood point to start. Now, resisting Flint is these infantry squads of Nazis. So what they do is they will roll their dice, and their successes, if they have successes that Flint doesn't deal with, Flint could potentially get injured as he or they try to work their way through this.
Okay. I want to terrify.
I love it. I love it. So you build your dice pool with your terrify stat. Is there any gear or any blood powers you want to use to amp that up?
Not for terrify. I need more blood.
Okay. So in this game, a 4 and a 5 each give you 1 success, and a 6 gives you 2 successes under normal circumstances. A 1, 2, 3 are discarded. And the way that the vampire can allocate their dice, their successes, is they can reduce the objective, they can reduce the threat's effectiveness, they can defend themselves against successful attack dice.
Okay.
They can feed on Nazi blood, or they can activate a special. So Flint is going to roll their terrified dice, and I'm going to roll the dice for the Nazi squad.
I would like to brawl instead.
Okay.
Because I have an ability, improvised projectile. I mark my 1 blood, and I'm going to chuck something large and heavy a surprising distance. So Flint is going to pick up my coffin that I came out of, and I'm going to throw it at these guys guarding the door. Nice, nice.
Describe what it looks like when you do that.
So Flint is not Flint is like the size of like a fruit, like one of those really large fruit bats. So maybe like 3 feet tall, 3 feet, 4 feet, or something like that. Not human sized. And you just see this small thing. It's bloody, gross, disgusting. It was just reborn effectively. And you watch as it grabs it. And as it's clutching onto it, its wings kind of like break a little bit and change, and they look a little bit like human arms, very muscular arms, as it just chucks it, and as it's throwing it, it screams.
I love it. All right.
Yeah.
I rolled 3 successes for the squad resisting you. So
everything 4 and up is a success, right?
Yep. A 4 is a success. A 5 is a success. A 6 is 2 successes for you, but only 1 success for me.
Okay. I've got a 4, and a 6, and then a 1. So
okay. So you got 4 total successes, and you can either put them against reducing the threat reducing the objective, or protecting yourself?
I'm a little guy, so I'm going to put 3 towards them and then 1 towards the objective.
Okay, so you're putting 3 points to protect yourself against the damage they did, and they only did 3, so you're nullifying that, and 1 towards the objective. Okay, so you're reducing the objective. So what's it look like as you reduce this objective and basically prevent this squad from damaging you?
So how it happens to land is it just kind of pushes them up against the wall and kind of forms a barrier between Flint and them that is preventing them from able to immediately get back at them.
So what you see is this Nazi squad is beginning to come up, and they're preparing to fire. But this steel coffin just comes scraping across the top of the pews, bangs into their helmets, knocks them back down on their asses, and starts to break a hole in the front of the cathedral, maybe allowing for an exit point. Flint, tell me who the next vampire is to burst free from their coffin.
I'm gonna roll a d6, and it is Irina.
Okay,
So Melissa, tell me what Irina looks like and what she's doing.
So as Irina is coming out of her coffin, she is slightly injured, but she looks kind of relatively nonplussed by this. And so she has very kind of light white hair and kind of pink and purple kind of makeup and this kind of old-timey like purple suit. And she's just sort of very nonchalantly just sort of brushing off like her, kind of collar and sleeves and just not the way to travel, not the best way to travel. And then she sort of steps out and she looks around and she notices that she's in beautiful surroundings in this kind of chapel area.
Mm-hmm.
And she just sort of lifts her voice up a bit and she just says, "Oh my, what a day it is here. I do believe we should all take ourselves outside. Outside is where we all want to go." And so she's trying to use her dark glamour ability, which gets a plus for being in dark surroundings. So I have to mark a blood for this.
Okay. So you go down to 0 blood, but you get a bonus dice. And we are in beautiful settings, so that would be 2 bonus dice.
So those nearby are mesmerized by your unearthly visage.
Okay, well, you see the second squad is forming up, but they don't do as well. They got 1 success. So you see one guy is shaking off your glamour and looks like he's raising his rifle to take a shot at you.
Okay, and so which ability would this be? Terrify?
I would say, yeah. I mean, you can make a choice, but I think Terrify is reasonable. You're forcing them into compliance, but you're using guile instead of fear. So yes, that would absolutely work.
Okay.
Or con, because I mean, con is swaying them through lies and flattery or charisma. So either one of those.
Yeah, I think I'll take Terrify.
I take it.
Sort of, and then it's a +1 die for the beautiful surroundings.
Okay.
So
but you activated the ability, right?
Yes.
And then it gives you an additional +1 if you're in a beautiful surrounding.
Yes.
So it's 2.
I see. I see. Yep. No, I get it now. Okay. All right. Rolling 5 dice. 2, 2, 2, 4, 5.
Okay. 2, 2, 2, 4, 5. So you got 2 successes. You can apply them towards the objective. You can apply them to reduce the threat. You can apply them to offset any damage you might suffer.
So he had 1 success, so I'll apply 1 to that.
1. Okay.
And then I'll apply the second to the objective because I'm trying to get everyone to go outside, which is going to ease our task to go outside.
You actually see quite a few of the guests. Most of the guests were already confused and terrified, and hearing this rational, beautiful woman's voice, composed, clearly giving them the right, the right answers, they start filing out in a fog. You can see they can't quite even understand what they're doing. But You saw that Nazi swing his gun at you and begin to raise it. And then you just stared at him and your eyes pierced through him. And his jaw went a little slack and a little drool came down. And he lowered his rifle for a moment under the full effect of your mesmeric power. So, Arena, who is the next vampire to burst forth from their coffin?
All right. Let's do Cosgrave.
As my guts and my skin are forming inside my coffin, some of the Nazis come up and wait for me to come out. Once I hear those footsteps, I kick my door open, pull up my sawn-off shotgun, and just start blasting.
I love it. I love it. So that's clearly shoot, and you're using one mark of your shotgun. And once again, no. So for people at home, everyone has equipment, gear that's part of their character, and they only have a certain number of uses for it. So when they use it, they mark it off once. But there's always the opportunity to loot new gear as they move through Paris. So they should feel free. So you pull it out. The first Nazi squad got up and they were flanking around to come at the coffins after that first coffin came flying at them. And right as they were getting in position, you come out. They only get 2 successes on their rolls. So 2 of them have weapons drawn and are prepared as you come out shooting.
Shoot is 2. My shotgun gives me 1. And then being point blank gives me 2 extra.
Okay, so you're at 5.
A 6, 2 4s, and a 5.
Okay, so that's great. That's 5 successes. And they only got 2 successes on their own, so you could whittle down the effectiveness of their attack if you wanted, or you could just take the injury. So you can reduce the objective, you can reduce the threat, you can reduce their effectiveness against you, or with the 6, you could activate a special if you wanted.
I'll spend 2 to reduce their threats.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's 1 for damage.
Or you can reduce the objective. So your objective is down to 6 at this point. You've got 3 left, so you could reduce the objective. In other words, you're making a clear path for you to get out. You could reduce the threat themselves. So basically, you shoot them and reduce their effectiveness against you in the following rounds, if there is a following round. Or you can bite one of them and get some blood points back.
Okay, so I have 2 to defend against their attacks. I'll do 1 to advance the objective. Then I'll spend my crit special here. I've got a back pocket hex. So as I come out and shoot, I also reach my back pocket, breaking a twig. All of a sudden, sends the candles in the cathedral up. Their wax goes to their eyes, and they're a bit blinded, which reduces their threat attack rating by 1.
Oh, nice. Excellent. So describe how all that looks as you come out of your coffin, shotgun blazing.
Yeah, Cosgrove is a man. He's from East London. He's got slick black hair. He's got ritual markings because he's a necromancer. Comes out, pulls out a shotgun, just blasts the first Nazi he sees. There's blood everywhere, and the candles all of a sudden start levitating. And the wax just flying through the air and attaching to these eyes.
You see these Nazis fall back from this shotgun blast. 2 of them are injured. Then this horrible flood of burning wax just coats the faces of these Nazis as they fall back screaming. You can smell the flesh starting to burn as our last vampire bursts from his coffin. What's Chuck look like?
Well, Chuck looks confused as he pops out. And he's facing the wrong way. He's got his guns drawn. They're Betsy. They're Maria. He's like, I'm coming for you. I object to this. Where'd everyone go? And he turns around and he sees Cosgrave. And he's got an old, nasty looking white hat on. He's got a neck of teeth. He's got a lapel that's an ear. And he looks over towards Cosgrave, who's got a shotgun in his hand. Did you say the line? Did you say it? Shotgun wedding? You didn't say it, didn't you? I can see in your face you didn't say it. You got to make it look good, man.
No, I didn't have time.
And so you didn't have time. I've been whatever. And so he's looking around. Is the is like the big guy still here? Is the groom still here?
Absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
He yelled. He went out and yelled, and then he's coming back for his bride after I had a second thought.
Okay, so he comes back and I'm like, pardon me, Padre. I object to this wedding. I am deeply in love with this bride to be. What's your name, sweetheart? Sweet, what's your name?
Clementine.
Fossestein Namen something. Okay. So anyhow, I'm gonna. So I want to. So Chuck is gonna kind of call out. Hey, groomman. Yeah, you. No, not you. You. And he's gonna point. Yeah, he's pointing at the groom. And he's trying to call him out. I will do you in honorable manner for the love of dear Fraulein Clementine something or other.
I will see you put in the ground. And he loosens his Luger, loosens his Luger at his sidearm, and he marches towards you with a faithful goose step.
Okay, now I hate to tell you this, it's gonna be a menage a trois, because I know you don't like the French too much, but I got me already. I got Betsy and I got Maria. I'm about to get your darn Clementine too. And so he's gonna start shooting at the guy with his guns. So I'm gonna use shoot. I'm immediately gonna use Betsy and Maria, which is one of my equipment. I'm trying to duel specifically.
Yep, he's there. He's there with you.
So I'm getting like 5 dice here. Okay.
You hear the music for High Noon playing in the background as this Nazi starts to go for his Luger.
All right. Okay.
He's peeling wax off his face.
You see, it's white. I mean, it was white once. It's not. It's been dirty.
You will be going back to the ground for where you belong.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. Air, whatever your name is. Okay, so a 6, a 4, a 4, a 3, and a 1. So, yeah. So
4 successes.
So 4 successes. And then, because I rolled a 1, we'll get that in a second. All right. So, yeah.
So he goes to draw his Luger, and it gets caught in his holster, and is because he's not used to wearing this his dress uniform, and it hikes it up, and he doesn't even clear his gun because he got 0 successes.
Oh. Well, boom, boom, and then he actually starts pulling the trigger because he made the sounds first, and then he fires the trigger. Let's see. I'll just do all damage. I just want to blow him away. So I'll do critical plus 2 damage. And then I'll use one of my regular successes to get an extra blood. I'm gonna stock up some blood, and then so I'll do 3 damage and I'll take 1 for blood.
Okay. What's it look like as you're shooting him and then race forward to take his blood? What's that? How's that look?
Yeah, so I'm fire. I'm like, hey, be with you a second, Clementine. 1 moment, please. And he's just gonna reach down and he's gonna look at the guy. Oh man, you got all messy. Oh, that's tasty. Like right in his chest, like right where the bullets went. Oh yeah. And then he just kind of lifts up. He's like, whew. You see, he looks over at Cosgrave. You see, I had like 10 lines. I said like 10 things. Plenty of time. 1 sec. It comes back up again. He's like dunking his head into a punch bowl.
So the SS Obersturmbannführer dies, and then we find ourselves at the beginning, and you see more Nazi infantry starting to wake their way in. In this game, there's an interesting reinforcement rule. So at the beginning of every round, if you reduce one of them, a threat to 0, a new threat comes at half that threat value, and then all the remaining threats' attack values go up by 1. So a new group, it's not a full squad of Nazis come in. They might have been honor guard outside or waiting by the car. A couple more Nazis come rushing in. And then you see outside, what looks like a sharpshooter setting up out there with the open doors. You've reduced your objective to 5. But you're still trapped within the church. And we're back at the beginning. You guys choose among yourself who wants to go first. All vampires get to go. And then we will see. as more Nazis pour in and more stupefied civilians pour out.
I'll go. Flint is ravenous, especially now that he's caught
down
the
to
scent
0
of
blood.
So you kind of witness as Flint kind of gets jittery and then just sort of quickly on all fours just launches himself at the ones who got kind of stuck underneath the coffin. And I'm gonna brawl attack, and I'm gonna use my steel gouging claws, and Flint is going for the eyes because they're his favorite. And I'm also ravenous, so if I'm in melee combat, I gain 3 blood.
Sweet.
So let me roll this.
Ooh, they did okay this time. So their attack goes up by 1 die. So now the Nazis in the second round are rolling 5 dice. So it's one of the reasons clearing the objectives are critical, because they get more powerful every round, basically.
Okay. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Okay. They got 3. So you go piling into them, but their guns are going off. They're firing. How do you want to spend your successes?
I'll spend 2 just to fend them off. So I'll take 1.
Okay.
And then I'll spend the other 3 for the objective.
Okay. And then so you plow into them, knocking them back and really kind of opening a way. You're almost, you can see the night skies of Paris outside, and you're almost free of this cathedral of blood. But you do take an injury. So look at your character sheet. You see at the bottom where it says injury, roll a d6 and tell me which injury line you're on.
I got 2. My teeth are smashed.
So what happens is, as you're literally tearing these people's bodies apart, and you're shoving flesh and blood into your mouth as you eat, and you bite down on this guy's rib, but his bones are a little harder than you were expecting, and it cracks your teeth as you're tearing his heart out.
And Flint, it sucks, but he doesn't necessarily mind, because that means his teeth are just that much sharper. And as he's feasting, and then the next thing you know, he leans up and he looks over at the rest of them.
And these Nazis are terrified by this, and they're all pulling back towards the walls of the cathedral. Flint sees the broken double doors and is so close to getting free of the cathedral. Flint, who is the next vampire to react to this attack?
1, 2, 3, 4. Cosgrove. Grave.
So
it's mine again.
So you see the officer is down, and Chuck is feasting on him. You see Flint feasting on part of the other squad of Nazis, and you see 2 other squads of Nazis and what looks like maybe a sniper in the distance. But you see the main doors to the chapel are open, and you're almost free of this cathedral.
Never graceful, these two. I say I just march outside. I'll wait for you there.
Okay, so what kind of action are you taking to just leave the church? Is it a sneak? Is it a con? So you're swaying Nazis, or
I'm gonna do a little sneaking here while they're distracted with the ravening beast.
I like it.
And Chuck's monologue. Maybe they're not interested in me here.
So as you're walking out, you're walking basically towards a sniper's nest. So we'll see how they do as you walk out.
Awesome. I have 3 in sneak.
Nice.
3 successes.
Nice. So you see the sniper, and you see them see you, but just out of the corner of their eye, and they fire. That bullet is going to hit you unless you react to it. So they got 2 successes. So You would take an injury, just a minor injury if you let the attack go through. But what's it look like as you're sneaking out of this cathedral and you see them?
I'll have 2 defend from the attack.
Okay.
So I'm sneaking behind the pews in the environments. That will give me cover. In advancing the objective. That's my third one.
Nice. So what we see is Cosgrave. You see him get close to the door. You hear a sniper's bullet. And you see him duck quickly and kind of yank a pew up and catch the bullet. And in so doing, he flips out into the night. And then you see that cause a shift in all of the Nazi forces. They're trying to figure out if they should be tracking in the cathedral or out. And you have a clear route out. Your objective has been met. So you can flee the cathedral. You move into the Parisian night. You're familiar. Part of your briefings were a general idea of the city of Paris. There was no clear way to know where you were going to land within the city because of the wards that the Nazis have put in place closer to the Eiffel Tower. But you know from here, if you move deeper into the city, you're almost on the very footsteps of the German Technology Pavilion. And that from the German Technology Pavilion, if you can make your way through that, you're within easy striking distance of the Eiffel Tower once you get through perhaps the fairgrounds. So you slide into the night, into the darkness. No one catches where you're going. There's such chaos at the cathedral that no one sees the 4 of you slip into the darkness and make your way closer to the German Technology Pavilion. It's about 250 yards sliding through between the shadows, but you do hear in the distance the sirens start. And this particular pattern of siren, this wailing, is announcing that there has been an occult attack on Paris. The code for vampire is embedded within this siren. So you know that there are those within the city that will be aware that you are here. Not perhaps what your ultimate goal is, but they will know that a squad of commando vampires has entered Paris.
Chuck will look around at everyone. Y'all hear that? There must be some other kind of vampires here. We're not the only ones. As he's like eating a liver like it's a peach. Just, oh, yeah. And this fella, he was a drinker, this one. Oh, I'm feeling a little dizzy. And he has stuffed into his pockets. You can just see the arms and legs of this guy and various organs. He's just billowing over with pieces. Just snacks for later, you know? It's a long hike to that tech place or whatever we're going. And anyone want a snack? No.
Yes,
no,
please.
No.
I would actually very much enjoy a snack. Yes. Do you? What else do you have?
Open up. And he's gonna take out one of these bloody chunks of this officer, and like he's just wringing out a towel. He's just gonna hold it above Arena's head and just squeeze and squeeze. Here you go. Like baby bird, except I didn't chew it.
Appreciate it. Yeah. No, it's
all right.
Good and warm. Thank you very much.
We're going rule of fun. Arena gets 1 blood point as Chuck squeezes a Nazi officer's leg and feeds her like a baby bird. You move through the darkness, through the night, and you get close to the German Technology Pavilion. You see banners strung up on the outside of the pavilion promising the future of warfare. You hear suspicious hissing noises coming from within, grinding noises. You've been briefed that there might be advanced weapons within the pavilion, but you know that this large building, it's got hangar bays in it and showing off future tanks and things. If you can sneak through the pavilion, you'll cut miles off of your journey and reduce the likelihood that Nazi squadrons will find you on the open streets. So you quietly enter.
I'm going to assist with this.
Mm-hmm.
I have an ability, sense heartbeat, so I mark and spend 1 blood, and I can sense the heartbeat of living beings through walls and obstacles. to help us avoid people as we sneak through this location.
Wonderful. So as you get close, and you're feeling and you're sensing through there, you actually only sense one life form within there, towards the middle of it. But it's odd. It's not like the normal feeling you get when you sense a normal human. You know, the not, it's not the right temperature. You know, your senses are not picking up the normal temperature. You can tell it's one individual, but it almost seems like it has multiple hearts beating within a single chest. There's something very odd about what is going on within the German technology pavilion. You do know that it's going to be difficult to get through the pavilion quietly, and you could easily be trapped within the pavilion if others find you here. Mechanically, the objective for getting through the pavilion is 9.
Okay.
But as you enter it, you get in, you see displays in the beginning, and then you see you're moving towards a giant open gallery. And within that open gallery, you see some very interesting things. You see first a large, looks like a prototype tank of some sort with a giant quadruped weapon platform on it, and some other turret that has some sort of a dish on it. This, in the game terms, is what's called a secondary objective. So there are secondary objectives you can also do. And one of them within here is to power up this weapon platform. And it takes 5. It's a 5 objective to do that. But in so doing, you could potentially use this quadruped weapon platform. Or this microwave array turret. But the other thing that catches your eye within this room, standing on a giant pedestal lit by spotlights from 4 different directions, is a statue at first, is what you think. But then it moves. And you see it's a 9-foot tall man. And he's pulling this hose down, this electrical conduit, and he plugs it into the back of his head. And he jitters to life. And you see in one arm, he's got, instead of his arm ending an arm, it looks like a cannon. And the other is this giant claw-like thing. And he cracks his neck and he looks down at you. And all of the storm shutters in the building slam down. And he laughs. Oh. Yes, come. Come, little vampires. I was made for you.
Is that where all the hearts are inside? Is inside that thing?
So I can't hear you. As Chuck did not go the last couple of steps. He, like, when he said dibs, he just ran right over to the platform and he was like leaving like the sleeves of various organs that he had been snacking on behind him as he goes. He's pulling out from his toolbox and he's gonna try to start jury rigging, getting this thing up and going. This platform thing. And he's going to use fix for it, which is his honestly his best skill. And then I'm going to use my tool belt. And then, Aaron, would you say this is jury rigging?
This is definitely jury rigging, yes.
Okay, so that's another die. Okay, so here we go. Well, I rolled 6 total dice. I got a 5, a 4, and a 4. That's 3 successes. And then I got a 6. That's 2 more. So I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm going to put all 5 towards this objective, if that's all right.
That is all right. And, you know, while you were working with it, at first you thought that you weren't going to be able to understand the technology. It's in German. You don't speak German. But in my attempt to resist this, I got 0 successes. So you quickly figure it out and seize control of this quadruped weapon platform. So it has 4 shots, and you get an additional dice for shrugging off incoming fire. I'm going to give you 2 additional dice on your shoot check next turn as you fire this thing off. So Arena, Flint, Cosgrave, you see this horrible Frankensteinian monster come lumbering off this platform, electricity coursing through its body, black bile coming out of its mouth and dripping out its chest as Chuck runs behind you and starts tinkering with a piece of machinery. What do you do?
And you just hear him, by the way, when he's successful, he's like, "Yeehaw! It calls grave. Check this out." He's tempted to just fire randomly before he even shoots at the thing.
So what would you like to do? You know your objective is to get through the pavilion, and that's a 9-slot objective. You see this giant Frankensteinian monster, the Stahlsoldat, coming towards you, and Chuck is taking care of business behind you.
This walking has gotten me hungry. And this is quite the meal in front of us. And I'm going to try to sneak behind him undetected first.
Okay. Give me your sneak roll.
This will be 3. Only 1 success this time.
He got 4 successes. As you're sneaking behind him, you actually see eyes open in the side and the backs of his head. These horrible, large, red eyes. And they're tracking you.
Just put the 1 towards the objective of getting out of the gallery.
Okay, so you put 1 towards the objective. He got 4. So you take 2 injuries. So roll a d6.
D6. A 5?
A 5. So on your character sheet, what's a 5 correspond to on the injury?
My grip. Oh, I see. My grimoire is damaged.
Okay, and that's the first one. What's the second one? Below it.
Wards compromised. I can't mark blood to use abilities.
Okay, so
no.
both of those have happened. So you can't use blood at the moment, and your wards are disabled. And because he got 4 unaccounted for successes, you're pinned. So what happens is these red eyes open behind you, and this cannon arm that's pointing forward, the joint just flips back behind you, and it shoots this pillar that you were right next to. And this concrete pillar comes down and crushes you flat against the ground. It just damages your grimoire, and your wards all break, and you are flattened. So Cosgrave is now also a secondary objective. He is pinned, and that is, we're going to call it a 2 objective. So someone needs to get 2 successes against Cosgrave's objective to save him. And then after Cosgrave is saved, he can spend blood. No, he can't spend blood. Someone is going to have to spend blood for him. Give him blood to heal him.
Okay, so Arena sees this happening, and so she sort of just is exasperated, and so she kind of fumbles through sort of like inside her suit, and she very kind of properly pulls out this cavalry saber, and she just sort of like kind of gathers everything, and she just sort of kind of from a little out of nowhere, she's very sort of old money looking to her, and she just sort of very properly yells, "And a charge!" And so she just takes off, because that's one of the things that she can do, is she gets an additional dice for charging, and so she's just going to try to run through this individual with her magic cavalry saber.
I love it. God, I'm rolling rocks here, guys. Sorry.
Dice. I'm rolling 3 dice.
Does your cavalry saber give you an extra one? Right?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I keep forgetting that. So it's the saber and the
charge gives you
charging, and then the 2 brawl. Yeah, 2 4s.
2 4s. Okay, so that's 2 successes. I got 4 successes again because I'm rolling my wonderful Blades in the Dark Norse Foundry dice, and they always roll rocks. So you got 2 successes. I got 4. How do you want to spend your successes? You could.
So I would like to spend. How many successes will it take to unpin Cosgrave?
2.
Cosgrave.
2.
I will spend the.
Don't forget, just like with Long, if you don't defend the attacks coming, that you're just going to replace Long.
Yeah,
like, you could do that, pick him up, and then you get knocked down. So
That's true.
That's true. So I'll do a 1 and a 1. I'll do 1 to defend and 1 towards getting him unpinned.
Okay. So describe what that looks like, what you're doing to...
So she just sort of has this run that just she's very properly kind of getting herself in her stance, and then suddenly just a blur that she's just kind of coming kind of sideways, and so she's trying to sort of skewer this individual that's got Cosgrave, and she sort of does a little bit and kind of pulls aside just a bit, but then finds that she sort of needs to move it up to kind of guard against this attack on herself.
So part of this pillar gets knocked off Cosgrave, and what you see is this thing's head just spins exorcist style, and you hear the popping sound of the grating vertebrae pop, 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 as his head tracks you, and his jaws distend, and you hear them breaking, and he vomits out this hot liquid black tarry substance, and it burns across your body. Roll me a d6 for your injuries.
That is a 5.
And what's
So
the 5 for Arena?
Shoulder injury.
And what's the second level of that?
Arm removed?
So what happens is this black viscous burning fluid strikes you in your arm. Not your cavalry, not your saber arm. It's the arm you were lifting. And you feel your entire arm disintegrate. You feel first the flesh just bake off, then the muscles explode from the heat, and the bones shatter. And everything from your elbow down is completely disintegrated, and you've got nothing but bone from the elbow up to your shoulder. Definitely some healing is due, but you're not pinned. You're just... So what is... when that arm gets popped off, what is the negative for Arena at that point?
I can only use 1 item per turn.
Okay. All right. Who would be the next vampire to act, Arena?
Flint?
So, Flint, you see Cosgrave get buried under rubble. You see Arena charge over there and start to untalk him before her arm gets completely burned off of her body. What's Flint do?
So Flint first kind of just shakes their head in disappointment because nobody listened to what he said. Nobody decided to go with Flint's plan. And so Flint just charges at this thing, and he's gonna spend a blood to do an advance called ooze form. So I can...
You can't use that until you've drank the blood of a soldier like this. You can only use your...
Okay.
But once you unlock an advance, like once you drink the blood of a super soldier, you can unlock an advance, and then you can use it at any point you want thereafter.
Got it. Okay, that's what I misread. Okay. I will then, yeah, I'm just going to attempt to use my seal claws to help brawl against this, to help Cosgrave.
Sounds good. And remember, every time you use your equipment, mark off 1, and when you get to that last box, you get 2 dice instead of 1 dice.
Okay, yeah. So I have used this twice. I have 2 more. Okay. I'm in melee combat. I'm getting some blood. This. Oh, yeah. Okay, my new dice are rolling really well today. I got a 6, a 4, a 4, and then a 1 and a 1.
6, a 4, and a 4, so you got 4 successes.
Yeah.
I will tell you, as you're coming into brawling against this thing, the thick armor plating on it is really hard to push through to actually get to any flesh and blood. Mechanically speaking, there are some threats you face that have a challenge rating, and they negate a certain number of successes. So this creature, the Stalsodat, has a challenge rating of 2, so it would negate 2 successes against the threat. Like if you applied it against his threat level, it would reduce it by 2, not necessarily anything else. So how are you going to allocate your 4 successes? I will tell you this now. He got 3 successes.
So Iriana put 1 towards Cosgrave, so I'll put 1 towards him and 3 towards the creature.
Okay. So you reduce his threat rating by 1.
Yeah.
Are you putting against him or against the damage he was going to do to you?
The damage he would do to me.
Okay. Good. So, what's it look like as this giant claw of his is coming down to rake at you? How is it that you manage not to get hit by it as you free Cosgrave?
Flint is so aerodynamic, so he swoops underneath it and he kind of distracts it a little bit by just kind of quickly moving around too fast. So when it goes to hit me, it gets off of Cosgrave, moves, hits over to the side, and while it's slowly ripping it from the ground, Flint comes around and grabs Cosgrave. And he had some body part on him, and he just spits the blood just straight in Cosgrave's face. It's not like unpleasant exchange like what Ariana had. This is more just your shit needs to get up. Here you go.
So, how many points of blood are you sacrificing to give to Cosgrave?
I am giving him the 3 I just got.
Okay, so Cosgrave has enough to heal his worst injury and you can heal injuries at any point. So you don't have to wait till your turn. You can do it whenever you want. So Cosgrave, Flint flutters over you, distends their mouth, and a vomit of blood pours down into your face and down your throat. But you feel reinvigorated by this once again mama bird action.
Not the worst meal I've had. So I get up and dust myself, check my parts.
So do you want to choose to heal that worst level 2 injury?
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Okay, so you still have the level 1 injury of your Grimoire being damaged, but the level 2 has been healed. Bringing us to the beginning of the round. You see this thing is fully powered up now, and you see this black blood coursing through its veins, and all of its eyes are opened, and it's actually growing more muscular as it's being fed electricity through this cable, growing stronger and faster, and it's cackling. It's the top of the round. Who wants to go first?
Oh, you hear Chuck from the back, ha ho, silver away. And he's just going to load up whatever that is. And like, come on. No, you can turn faster than that. Okay, here we go. Hey, stay still, you big ugly mug. And he's just going to start firing with his new special friend. So he's going to use shoot. And he is just going to try to shoot the cannon, this orbital cannon thing, directly onto this guy and try to explode him as best he can.
I love it. So this quadruped weapon platform starts opening, boom, 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 opening fire.
And it's a +2, I think you said.
Yep.
And it's got 4 uses, like 4 shots, I believe.
Yep.
Okay, cool. It's for 5 successes, 2
Nice.
6s. A 2 and a 1.
So his cannon comes up and fires this at you, this bloody mass. It looks like a hyper energized plasma and bone, but it goes wide. And because I got 0 successes,
Oh man.
so you're in good shape.
Oh geez. Oh, well, all right then. So he fires a cannon. Can we say that as he fires his cannon, whatever it is, like a part of him rips off in the process, like it kind of gets caught, and you just whatever this particular minute, it just kind of gets thrown like a shirt cannon, and so like a part of his flesh comes flying up, and Chuck's just like, oh shoot, like a dolphin coming up out of because I did roll a 1, and so I do have Corpse Eater, and so it was the only thing I could think of that would make sense. Okay, and so then in terms of allocation. Let's see. I've got the 2 crits, so 4 damage, and then I'll put the crits towards him, 4 damage, and then I guess 1 towards the objective, whatever it might be.
Okay, so your objective now is down to 7 of getting through the pavilion, and you are whittling away at him. So you put 4 against him. You see a bit of it get absorbed by the armor. Sure. So, but some of it does get through.
Hey, you tough guy. You work out?
I was built for this. And as the flesh of this, so what happens is that ball of plasma and bone breaks up as it misses, and some of it splatters down on you, and it's a big globulate of hot, superheated flesh, and it kind of tastes like bleach and pine tar and petrol, but you consume it and you can activate one of your advances at this point and use it for the rest of the session.
Oh my. Okay. Cool. I'll let you know when it comes to play.
And you see that you've ripped away part of the plating over his ribs, and you can look in and you see what looks like one of 3 lungs maybe, and some organs you can't identify, but they're there, and they're just bleeding this black ichor.
Hey fella, you got any livers? How many you got? Like 4, 5, 6? 7?
You'll never know, vampire.
8, 9? Okay. I'll just come rip them out of you. That's fine.
And Chuck, who's next to act?
Let's go Cosgrave. He's been on the ground a while. Come on, Cosgrave. Come on, get on up in it. Go. I put a little hole in him right there. Go weasel on in. Just weasel on in.
Nice work, Chuck. What have you named that one?
This one? Oh, you know what I'm talking about. This here is LMA.
Let's show her what I can do. And then I'll pull out an enormous knife, pretty much a machete, and go charging at this dude.
I love it. So his eyes start to track you, but let's see if they react fast enough.
Let's see. I have 2 in Brawl. Then 1 bonus for the knife. Ooh, a crit and a success.
Nice. So 3 successes in total?
Yes.
He only got 1 success. So how do you want to attribute your points? Your objective is down to 7.
1 success to defend the attack.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll do my crits. 2 on eliminating the threat. So I'll take my enormous machete, just cut out those eyes that he saw me earlier with.
Okay, so as you come up with your machete and go to clang against him, he actually lifts his shoulder up and you hit the armored plating. And it does not get through his armored plating. What's it look like, though? How do you evade his attack with this claw?
The machete clangs off and vibrates a bit, causing me to have a knee-jerk reaction and just avoid his attack.
So Cosgrave falls back from running into his armor. Who goes next, Cosgrave?
Send it back to Flint.
Hey. Flint is going to use their ability Wings. So he's going to just launch himself into the sky because he smells that gross blood. And he's just going to go feral in that wound and just scratch and rip and rend as much as he can.
I love it.
So I'll use my steel claws again for fun.
Okay.
One, 2, 3, 4. 4 successes.
Okay, so as you come in to get at that wound, he points that cannon down at you and fires. He gets 2 successes.
Okay, so I will use the 2 to cancel that out.
Okay.
The damage I would have taken. And then I'll use the 1 to feast on the blood.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one to not advance him, but just like the general of
Objective?
this area. Yeah.
So describe what that looks like. How by hitting him are you advancing the objective of getting out of this pavilion or getting through it?
So as Flint is within this body and he rips off, like just tears a huge chunk of this deformed lung, and it just happens to fling in a direction as this caustic black ooze comes out of it and starts to deteriorate one of the closed sealed windows and doors.
Oh, nice.
So
Good.
just eat at it.
I love it. So you also, as you drink his blood, you taste bleach and pine tar and petrol. You get a blood point, and it allows you to activate one of your advances.
Okay.
And I did see in chat, sorry, I haven't been paying that close attention, juggling a lot of bowls, but I did see Griffin give some bits. Thank you. So what we'll do with those is you can spend 200 bits to re-roll a single die.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
So Flint, you see this black oozing blood start to eat their way through some of these shutters, and then we find Arena. Arena, what do you do with your
So
one
would you
arm?
Would you say that Arena is separated from this individual now, or are they still kind of connected?
You can be wherever you want to be.
Okay.
You tell me where you
I
are.
can charge again.
You absolutely can. So what happened was your arm got torn off and you were flung, and now you have the ability to turn and charge back.
And so Irina is going to kind of take the saber and she's going to kind of put it up kind of under her arm a bit. And she's just going to kind of shake herself off and just say, so rude. This is not. And so what she wants to do is she wants to kind of charge back at this individual. Turnabout is fair play. And so she basically wants to kind of take this saber and kind of see if she can get him kind of up under the armpit and see if that is kind of a weak spot in this kind of armor that's been kind of thwarting our attempts previously.
I like it, and I like the precision of it. Give yourself a bonus dice on this attack.
Sweet.
GM's fiat.
Oh, man. 2 successes, 5 and a 4.
We've got some bits if you want to spend them. I got 4 successes again.
Oh, good gracious. Yes, I will spend 200 of those to re-roll one of them and get a 3.
Okay. So you got 2 successes. He got 4 successes. You charged in. You got him up under the arm. But at the same time you got him up on the arm, his claw was coming down to rend into your shoulder. So how do you want to deal with this? How do you want to spend your successes?
So I am going to... So you got 4 successes and I only got 2. So even if I spend it on defense, it's not actually going to save me. So I'll just spend...
Well, I'll tell you this.
Defense.
If you only take 2 points, you just take 1 injury. It's not like a 1-for-1. You have to take more than 3 points of injuries, 3 injuries to take 2 injuries at a time. You have to take 4 injuries to get pinned. So it does make a little bit. If you reduce it just to 2 injuries, you're only going to take, or 2 damage, you're only going to take 1 injury. So
I see. Well, being that she is down an arm, she will spend both of those in defense, unfortunately.
Okay. So what's it look like as you're fending off this claw that's coming down? It still tears into your shoulder.
So basically she didn't really get, kind of the injury that she thought she was going to get. So she's sort of kind of flinging the saber up with one hand, thinking that she's going to kind of do a good portion of damage to it. And it kind of doesn't really do that. But in the upswing, then she's sort of able to instead defend against the claw.
I like it. So you do take an injury, though. So roll a d6 and tell us where this injury is.
So I rolled a 5 again, and I already have both of my injuries.
Reroll it.
Okay.
Just reroll it.
That's a 3. So my hair is now ruined. This white hair is now not white. And that claw that didn't actually hit my face or anything like that has instead just ruined the coif that was worked on so hard.
So your hair gets covered in this black ichor, and he actually pulls part of it away and exposes your scalp. And you see it in his clawed fist. And that brings us to a new round, and you see him once again. I mean, the energy coursing through him. He's getting stronger with each passing moment. Chuck, we'll go back to the quad cannon. Okay, your objective is down to 6 at the moment.
Okay, Ella May is just continuing to turn the Ella. God dang it! It's this way. It's this way. God dang! She just doesn't listen. She can only go left. Cosgrave. She can only go left. And then, so we're in a pavilion or something. You said, right? What's the ceiling situation like? What are we thinking? Is it like
it's whatever you want it to be? What's it look like?
Is it heavy? I want to say it's heavy because I think what Chuck wants to do is he wants to fire at the ceiling above this guy and try to basically collapse what's above, right on top of him. Maybe slow him down. Maybe things like that. I think that's what he's going to do. He's gonna shoot up at the ceiling this time. I
like the strategy. Take a bonus dice and give it a good shot.
Awesome. All right. Here we go. I'm running our cowboy sayings. Oh my god. That's gonna be five successes again. No one.
Fantastic.
I'm sorry. 6 successes. 4s are successes,
crap.
aren't they? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'm up to 6 dice and I got 0 successes. So what do you want to do with all of your successes?
Okay. How far away was the objective?
You're 6.
Okay. I just did 6 successes. And so the objective is to get through here. And how does that interplay with the threat that we're facing?
Threats, once you reduce an objective to 0, you can just ignore the threat and move through basically you're opening a way through the objective and getting out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say I bury him. I'm gonna put it all into objectives, and it buries him, and it does has the double bonus of we don't have to deal with him because he's buried beneath this, and it also kind of gives us a path forward. Hey y'all. You didn't get caught, did you? Sorry. And then he starts leading LMA forward and just climbing on top of now the piled rubble to get up through the hole that he just made and then through to the next objective area. This way, come on, Vamonos.
Dearie, did you leave I just need a leg to chew on just a little bit before we go. This inconvenience of a missing arm.
Rita, I mean, the first hit's free, okay? Just to get you a taste, okay? That's just how this entire product. So, fine. Okay, 1 sec. And he reaches down and he tries to help her up, I guess, onto the platform. And he'll hand over one of his leftover organs. No, I ain't giving you the liver. I like you. I ain't like you that much. And he puts it away. And he's like, oh, here we go. Gallbladder. This is more your speed. And he just squeezes it over the top. So
the question is Chuck actually giving a blood point or blood to Arena, as in he's sacrificing his own blood? Or
yeah. It's in the rules.
Yeah. I'm absolutely. I was just going to give you if through your wonderful descriptions of it. Okay.
Oh yeah, I marked it down before. Because I've been building up blood because my corpse eater trait is pretty good. Yeah. I've gotten a couple ones, so it's helped me. Yeah.
And so you have to have gained 3 blood points to heal an injury, right?
That is correct.
I ain't giving you 3. Calm the hell down.
At the rate that this is going, we have had 2 battles and I've lost 1 limb. So we will see how.
And half a scalp.
Yes.
Arena's no longer the pretty princess she was.
Oh.
Don't.
I'm feeling pretty good, and I got a new toy, so I'm going to keep going. Y'all are welcome to hop on if you like.
Flint. So as you come out of the rubble of the wall that was the backside of the pavilion, you see the lights and hear the sounds of a fairground not too far from you. And you know that this fairground, if you go through the fairground, it actually comes out basically at the base of the Eiffel Tower. So you may be able to get almost directly to the Eiffel Tower if you go through the fairgrounds. The lights are still flashing, the rides are going, but it's eerily quiet. You think probably the sirens have scared off most people. You do notice as you look over the fairgrounds, though, that a great flock of crows are circling above the fairgrounds and cawing and spiraling. You see kind of slightly inside the fairgrounds, you see a German tank with its treads broken and it's kind of limping along. And then you see coming directly at you in a strafing run, a German fighter. You've been spotted, and they're coming in and then as it gets over the fairgrounds, you literally see the wings rust off of it, and it fall into the House of Mirrors and explode, and mirrored shrapnel flies throughout the midway. But you still think the fairground is the quickest way to get to the Eiffel Tower.
Here's what I'm thinking. We get ourselves one of them big tops. We'll put it over top of LMA. We stealth on through. They're never going to know the difference.
As you slowly make your way into the lighted midway, past all the games and some of the rides, you do not see a soul. Off in the distance, you see that tank, but that's it. They don't seem to see you, but you feel a presence. And then you see the Ferris wheel, the third largest Ferris wheel in Paris, all lit up. But then you realize that it's not stationary any longer, that it's actually rolling towards you. And there's a figure atop it, a pale woman, tall, stringy, long hair, in this patchwork, colorful robes, cackling and dancing atop this Ferris wheel as it spins towards you. You have no idea how she's staying at the top. And then her long black tongue lolls out and her teeth start to fall out. And you realize that sheets of rust, like some sort of horrid dandruff, is falling off of her body and coating everything on the wind, and the taste of iron and rot is in the air. And all you hear is her cackling as she approaches. Your objective is to navigate a collapsing fairground while hunted by an entropy witch known as the Rust Witch. This is a level 10 objective. Challenge 1. And she is coming for you. Who would like to act first to try to get through the fairgrounds or deal with this enormous Ferris wheel and horrific witch bearing down on you?
So what Irina would like to do, and she sort of sees that and looks at it, and she looks like she's sort of pensive for a second, and she, as she is wont to do, she kind of sighs again, and with her arm she kind of reaches into the inside of the coat pocket, and she has cigarettes taken from the pockets of hanged men. Mm-hmm. And so she lights the cigarette and pulls it out. And the purpose is to mark it to regain 2 blood. Mm-hmm. So she's going to regain 2 blood so that she can spend 3 of that to heal and get her arm back, I think is what that does.
Wonderful. Yeah. So you see Irina pull out the cigarette, and she's smoking with her one good arm and looking at this Ferris wheel as this witch comes barreling down at her. And then you see this her other arm begin to just flesh out, and the blood vessels form and the muscles start to form, and it shakes out, and you hear bones cracking, and her arm reappears. None the worse for wear as this comes forward.
Chuck, much appreciated for the blood I needed. Couldn't do it quite all of it on my own. Thank you very much.
You need an arm? I had plenty. I could have got you one. And he just reaches back into his pack. He's like, see, there's one here. This is the fella's arm. You probably don't want that one. It's all hairy. This one, though, this one's nice. I think this is one of the bridesmaids. I don't know how I got it, but there it is. Must have been Cosgrave. You know how he is with that shotgun.
I might need that later. And so she's going to kind of ready for next time. She's going to get her hunting rifle out for next time.
And as this wave of rusty flakes and horrible stench of rot rushes across you, you feel an illness and a weakness unlike anything you've ever felt before. While dealing with this individual, 1 through 4 on your dice are now a failure. 5 counts as 1, 6 counts as 2. Irina, who is up next as this creature bears down on you?
And she was just having a conversation with Chuck, so she's just going to be like, I'm going to have to wait till next time for using this rifle. So what can you do?
Look at the size of her tongue. That's impressive.
It does lick down around her feet and black up in her mouth.
So Chuck's gonna, hey, Irene, want to see something funny? Watch this. And then he's going to go trying to take his platform thing and try to kind of like try to use it almost like spider climb it as best he can, like up the side of it. And then he's like, hey, lady, you got a nice tongue. Check mine out. And then I'm going to go ahead and activate one of my advances. And I'm going to send out as I'm going to try to pull her down from the top of the of this wheeling carnival, as I'm going to use lashing tongue, as I have a strong prehensile tongue that now extends out from me. I'll say we'll probably make this like a brawl, and I'm trying to essentially pull her, like restrain her, pull her down. Okay, and let me
take a bonus die for using your crawler to get closer.
Nice. Okay, so that's that. Okay, here we go. Hello! And I am rolling so many sixes tonight. It's ridiculous.
Fantastic.
I would like one of those sixes. Just one.
And remember, sixes can also activate specials if you have a certain special.
I don't have any currently. Seven.
Well, not in advance, but a special. Like if you look under your gear or your abilities.
Yeah, I actually don't have any yet. I would have to activate. I have to get a new advance to get it. 7 successes and a 1. So I think as this comes out, I get a little taste. I just kind of wrap it around. Oh, you got a little paper cut on your back out. Yo, as he's trying to pull her off. Okay. What do we want to do? So she's not the objective. She's just the threat.
No. Yeah, but she got 3 successes herself.
Okay, so I have. So I'll use 3, obviously, to block that.
It's the dueling tongues. Her tongue comes flipping down at you, and your tongue bats it away.
And then so that leaves me with 4. So, okay. So I had 3 crits. So I'll use 1 crit and the regular success to block, and then I have 2 crits left. So.
And I will say this also before you decide. This is another one of the Ubersmensch, the super soldiers. So draining her blood would allow you to unlock a second advance if you wanted to drain any blood.
I get it automatically.
You get that for your corpse eater automatically. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then, so I'm gonna go ahead and do damage. And so I kind of want to say, like, because I'm trying to pull her down, so it's like she's no longer on top of this like wheeling carnival thing. So I think as what I'm gonna do is my tongue's gonna grab her and I'm just gonna yank her back, and I'm just gonna try to whip her down to the ground so she's off the carnival, and the carnival like wheel just kind of continues to roll and she's no longer controlling it. So I'll just do 4 damage to her.
4 damage to her directly?
Yeah, I think so. Just do it.
Cool. Okay. So that's exactly what we see. We see her tongue dart out to strike at Chuck, but his darts out harder, smacks hers aside. He wraps around her throat, squeezes, and she squeals, and his tongue slams her down off the top of this giant Ferris wheel. She goes crashing through the funhouse wall, splattering against the ground. You hear bones break, and the Ferris wheel continues to roll back towards the German Pavilion of Technology as it leaves the fairground and disappears. Chuck, who's going to be helping you next?
Flint, sickle, sick her, yeah, sicker, sicker, sickle. Flint, go eat that thing.
And Flint will do as told. I'm going to use my steel claws. I'm going to brawl. I'll be in melee combat, so I get 3 blood. 3. Yeah. 3, 4, 5. Only, okay. Ignore my 4. So 1, 2, 3 successes.
Okay. She got 5 successes this time.
Yikes. I'm going to enact my advanced bone armor. After I roll my dice pool, before I discard my dice, reduce your successful attack by 1 for each one that I rolled, and I rolled 2.
Nice, nice. So down to just 3 successes for her.
Yeah, which is exactly what I also had. But I am going to block 2 of her successes,
Mhm.
and then I want to use the 1 to consume her blood.
Okay. So what's it look like when your bone armor forms, and then when you drink her blood?
So the bone armor is actually kind of disgusting because it's kind of similar to like when we're reforming when we were coming out of the coffins. You just watch as Flint's actual rib cage just bursts out from his skin, and suddenly it kind of just continues to grow, kind of like tightness around his body, and most of his body is reinforced except for the flimsy parts of his wings. And
Nice.
he just blocks with his chest before throwing his face down into her neck and just ripping as much as he can to consume some of her blood.
So you see this flesh tearing and this black blood flying as Flint just rakes through her body, tearing at it. The blood tastes like stinging nettles, pop rocks, and tonic water as you consume it down and activate in advance. Taking us to Cosgrave, as you see now Flint hovering over this horrid witch, feasting on her blood.
Oh, and I got a wound.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Roll a d6.
I am spooked.
Okay.
So when the funhouse got destroyed,
Mhm.
I'm going to take a vial out of my back pocket, drink this viscid liquid, and then I start chanting. And the shards of the glass mirrors go impaling into the rusty witch.
Nice. She
Nice.
sees you chanting. She hears the words of magic and turns herself to unleash her own curses at you, but doesn't do very good this time.
I'll try like a shoot for my stat. Like shooting shards,
Okay.
I guess. Yeah.
Yep, shoot. That's perfect. Give you a bonus dice for being creative with the broken glass.
Written success, so that's 3.
3 in total?
Yeah.
I got 1. So how would you like to spend your successes?
Spend 1 to defend the attack.
Okay.
Another to drink her blood, eat blood.
Okay. So you get a blood point. And you taste this pop rocks and tonic water and stinging nettles flavor, and it allows you to activate an advance that you can use through the rest of the session. And you get 1 blood point. And you saw that this wall of broken glass reflected her curse back harmlessly, so you took no damage from it. But you see that the rust swirling around her begins to cake and swirl stronger, and you believe that she's gaining strength from the chaotic and entropic magic flowing around her. As we begin the next round, your objective is still a 10. Well, who would like to go first?
So, would you consider Arena being up kind of in this thing with Chuck? Would you consider that an elevated position? Now that she's
Absolutely.
been pulled down to the ground. Okay.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, you're
she
above her.
Prepped her rifle last time.
Mhm.
So I've got 3 for my shoot. I've got 1 for the rifle. I've got 1 for elevated position. And if I don't get a 6, I'm going to spend bits. I get a 6. I also got 3 ones. So I'm still going to spend 2 of those to reroll one of the ones and see if I can do a little bit better. And I got a lolly. All right.
Nice.
Finally, luck's turnaround. So I've got a 4, a 6, and a 6.
Okay, 4s don't count this time because of her
that's right.
magic. So, but you did get 2 6s, so that's 4 successes. You saw her from the ground. She flung something up at you, some sort of rusty dagger made of broken material. So she got 1 success as this thing is flying at you.
Okay. I'm thinking that I might not worry so much about injuries, and maybe I'll be able to use that last stand thing.
Mhm.
So I am going to take all four. Let's see. I've got 4 successes, so I would like to put 2 of them towards the objective and 2 of them towards her.
Okay.
Actually, sorry. I have Deadeye Shot. When you use a ranged weapon by special, you reduce a threat's attack rating by 1.
Oh, nice. So then you reduce her damage to you by 1. So
So is that basically like spending my 6 on that, which leaves me 2
Yes.
successes for something else?
yes, but it's permanently. You reduce her threat rating permanently for everybody. So for you and for everybody else, or you can just leave it alone, whichever way you prefer.
That sounds like a good thing to do.
Okay.
To help everybody, and then I will spend my other 6, the other 2 successes, on moving our objective along.
Okay. And what's that look like? How is your marksmanship helping you guys find a way through the carnival?
So, I would say that as she is kind of shooting this woman, the shot also hits like one of the like lights that are up and about, so they were like turned off, and somehow like the shot also kind of hits a switch on one of them, so it like illuminates the path
Perfect.
a bit.
So yeah, the bullet strikes down, hits her. The rust cloud around her dissipates a little bit. You activate. You hit a button, a toggle, and the great searchlight just starts once again strobing around, and you see the clear exit out the back side where all of the Carney's trailers are, that leads out right to the back side of the Eiffel Tower. So you've shown a clear pathway through. So you've started to chip away at your escape. Arena, who's next to help out this round?
Does she attack me, by the way?
She only got the 1, so.
Oh, I didn't
And
defend.
you reduced, but you did use that 2 to reduce her attack dice. So I took that 1 away.
Oh, I see. Oh, sweet. I thought I was going to get injured here.
No, you're good.
Okay, so she'll kind of look over to Chuck and just say, I have lit the way for us.
Okay, 1 sec. Hey, cover me. I don't really like these magicians. They are not of a fun variety. I did kill one once, and he's gonna pull out of his tool bag there in his back. He's like, you can see it, right? See all these tattoos here? I got myself an idea. 1 sec. And he climbs down into like the bowels of LMA, and he is going to attempt to try to supercharge the engines of LMA to make it go really fast. And he's going to be calling, hey, everybody get on, let's go. We got to ski daddle. Ski daddle. I don't even know what it means, but I know it's cowboy. And so he's going to attempt to use Fix in his tool belt with some jury rigging to try to basically make this into a supersonic hedgehog.
Nice. And this is this Ellie Mae's last use?
This is LMA's last use. So
you get 2 dice for that.
Mm-hmm.
You get your jury rig die. I'm giving you a bonus die because it's just fun. As everybody piles onto Ellie Mae.
I am rolling. I am actually rolling all of my dice. I'm rolling all 10 of my dice right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, I got 0 successes.
Oh, I might not even have to use this thing then. Okay. Well, I got 2 6s I can see. I got 5.
Thanks to Melissa reducing her threat rating by 1.
Sweet.
Okay. What's the objective at?
The objective is at 8 at the moment.
Okay, I am going to then use 6. One of my 6s to trigger a special, which is elbow grease. Whenever I am, well, actually, I guess it's not single-handed, huh? Yeah, because you guys have been contributing to it too, right? So my elbow grease is when you roll up your sleeves and take on an objective single-handed with the fixed skills. I mean, if anybody else is
you can use it. You can definitely use it here.
Okay, so I'll use my elbow grease to reduce the objective's rating by 4, which brings it down to 5. Then
Down to 4. Your objective
down
is
to
now
4. Excuse me. And then I will use. Then I have another 6. That's 2, and then 2 5s, which is 2 more. Then I rolled a couple 4s. Unfortunately, that don't count. So yeah, reduce the objective all the way to 0. So everybody hop on. Come on. Oh man, she's getting ornery. And trying to get everybody on. And I don't know exactly if there is an exhaust, but there is now, because a panel explodes out the side of it, and you just see a flame extending out from behind as everyone kind of hops on, and we just as we start flying through the carnival, and we just like completely tramp over the carny buildings as we're going here and there, whether there's people in them or not. That's what you get for trying to get all my money that one time. And going in the direction that Arena had lit up as an escape route.
Wonderful. And as you go through at this madcap pace, all 4 of you hanging on for dear life, this flame exhaust ignites the rust cloud that was around the witch and burns her to a cinder, and you light the entire midway on fire, distracting the garden party that's at the base of the Eiffel Tower. As you make your way to it, you see nothing between you and the top of the Eiffel Tower other than a climb.
And it's at this point, as we get there, that LMA just stutters and she collapses on. Oh, you did good, girl. You did good. Don't worry. You did good. You go now. And he just kind of pets her a little bit and then hops down. Actually, no, he's gonna take a piece of her with him. They don't have teeth, but like he's just gonna kind of bend a little piece of metal and kind of put it on his little necklace there to remember her by.
Maybe pulls the triggers off of the quad guns. They look kind of like fangs.
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Oh
I like
dear,
it.
your talent with the machinery is unrivaled.
All right, what's that mean?
Well done, chap.
Chap? No, I ain't wearing chaps. I don't like them. They kind of ride up on me a bit.
And yes, we're that way. We're going that way, right?
No, going up that way. Up.
So it's the dark of the night. You guys make it to the base of the Eiffel Tower. Chuck, Arena, Flint, Cosgrave. You see on the other side, surrounding the other half of the Eiffel Tower, is a great garden party, but everybody's attention now is on the burning fairground. And you're able to begin your ascent up the Eiffel Tower, at least undetected initially. The Eiffel Tower's... Good. The Eiffel Tower's objective rating is 8 with a challenge of 1. So this was built to celebrate the 1889 Paris World Fair. However, upon the Nazi conquest of the city, the structure was retrofitted with the latest in German technologies. Elevators rocket up the structure, dazzling electric lights blaze out into the night air, and a rudimentary communication aerial has been supplanted high atop the tower. In addition, you see a docking platform for a Zeppelin, which is tied up at the top of the Eiffel Tower. You know that this is your objective, the Führer's Zeppelin.
Oh, okay, so I have to ask everyone: Are we insistent on stealth being the way up, or do we want to just get up as quickly as we can?
Chuck's not even listening. He's gonna lean over to the Cosgrave, looking at the Zeppelin. I'm gonna call that one Bertha. What? And then he's gonna try to start spider scurrying.
Okay.
Up the side of the so he's gonna, come on, let's go, come on, Flint, here we go, come on, and he's gonna, and so he's just his arms and his legs will suddenly like the joints just don't seem quite right at a certain point, and his hands kind of come down, and he's like, I'm a spider monkey, and he starts climbing.
Fantastic. So you spend a blood point, you activate that power, gives you a bonus dice. So are you going up using stealth? Are you sneaking? Are you searching? I'm
gonna use sneak.
Okay. Because of what the actions you did at the fairground and all the attention you pulled away, you all are going to get you're going to get a bonus dice this first round, because no one's attention is on the tower at the moment. In addition to any other bonus dice you might get for other abilities you have.
So he'll just call down like, "Follow me, folks." Man, I have rolled a 6 on every single pool. It's ridiculous. So are 4s okay again?
4s are okay again. Yeah, you're back to
All right.
normal.
3 successes then. So I got, and one of them was I got a 6 and a 4.
And I've reduced the threat rating for anybody who might see you by 1 for this round because their attention is elsewhere. So I got no successes. So nobody is noticing you as you move up.
So he's just.
How do you want to
see him
allocate your
just-
points?
So I'm just going to. I guess I'm just going to reduce objective to this. I don't see any reason to do anything else. But he'll call down, and he's just kind of pointing out with his like crooked arms, and his double jointedness is like, okay, step there. Come on, y'all vampires! What the hell's wrong with you? Let's go.
And how many successes did you get?
3 total.
Okay, so your objective is down to 5. So you guys see Chuck scurry up the side. He's pointing things out. Who would follow Chuck next, and how would they follow him?
Not from the Wild West, Chuck. I'll look for an elevator.
Okay. There, you see, I mean, there are several elevators going up the sides of the Eiffel Tower, so you can easily see one. There are people there. You know that each of the elevators has a person in them to control them, but they can be controlled using con, or they can be terrified, or they can just be killed, and then you can use them. So, how would you like to approach this elevator and take control of it?
I'm going to mark a blood off
Mhm.
and use an ability of mine. So what you see is all the pieces on Chuck's back that he's been collecting, they start forming a corpse, and I can take control of that. I'll send it in.
I love it. So, Chuck, you feel this weirdness happening on your back, and it's not a human. It's not doesn't look like a human. It's almost like this horrific amalgamation of limbs, spider-like, legs sticking out one way, arms the other. There's half a skull and a head at the top, and it's just lolling about as this 60-pound flesh crab flows into the elevator and attacks this Nazi. Give me a roll.
What are you doing?
Take it.
I'm gonna
Take
eat that.
Take an additional
We'll have it
bonus
back.
die for the horror of this action. This Nazi sees this thing coming in, and he starts firing. I get 2 successes with the guy in the elevator.
That's 602 for myself as well.
Okay, so you're right behind this amalgamation of body parts and bones as it launches itself at this Nazi, and the head that you thought was on the top is actually on the bottom, like a crab's mouth, and it just starts grinding into this Nazi's chest as all of the limbs fold around him, and he starts wailing. How do you allocate your successes?
I'll just do 2 to advance the objective.
Okay, so the objective is down to 3 as this Nazi wails and falls into a basic blood pudding as this corpse just continues to rend and tear at it. Taking us to who after that, Cosgrave?
Arena.
Okay. So
Arena, you hear horrible noises coming from the elevator, and you see Cosgrave's smiling face. Chuck is long since disappeared in the shadows as he climbs. How would you like to approach this?
and so there's no wrong answer here, but have people noticed the commotion in the elevator?
Not yet. No, this has all happened in seconds. Like a few heartbeats has happened, and no one's noticed it yet. You also get a bonus dice for everybody being distracted, and they get 1 less attack dice for dealing with the incident this round.
I have nothing that I'm not a sneaky one. Can I use brawl for climbing ability?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see why not. It's your physical skill.
All right.
Just punch the rungs as you're cleaning up.
Just brute strengthen it, just.
Grip them tight. All right, I am rolling a grand total of 2 dice for this.
Well, and Arena's doesn't Arena have a special ability that she can activate that gives, or is that an advance that gives her like extra physical dice? I think it might be an advance.
That's an advance. It's
Okay.
an advance. Yeah, which is super fun. If I get to that, but yeah, that's Brawl and Terrify. All right, come on, 2 dice. 2 good things. Hey, that's a 6 and a 1.
Nice.
So I'm going to spend 2 to reroll the 1
Nice.
and see what I get from that. That's a 5.
Nice. So you hear somebody sees you as you're going up, and you hear a rifle shot go off. I got 1 success.
Okay, so I'm going to spend the 1 to negate that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to spend the 2 from the 6 to advance.
Nice. So the objective is down to 1. So you move. You're so strong and so fast that you basically jump and leap like 15 feet up as the bullet goes beneath you and grab a rung and continue to climb up, taking us to Flint. As the elevator goes up, as Arena muscles her way up, as Chuck stealthily almost oozes his way up with his weird wall crawling. What's Flint do?
So Flint has a grappling hook for some reason.
Oh yeah, yep.
So I would like to use
Because he's Batman.
Yeah. Well, he's literally a bat. So I would like to have him use it to accelerate his launch. So he's going to shoot it. It's one of those retractable ones. So as it's pulling him up, he's getting acceleration, and then he's going to spend a blood point to fly. So he's just using it to just absolutely launch his way up the tower.
So you get a bonus for nobody paying attention to you. You get a bonus for your grappling hook. You get a bonus for flying. And I get 0 successes on my 2 attack dice, so nobody sees you.
2, 4, 6 successes.
6 successes? Okay,
yeah.
So describe what you want to do with those 6 successes. Nobody sees you. Nothing happens. You're all on your own as you fly up the side of the Eiffel Tower.
Flint is just going. And I have like an effect on my equipment where it says +3 or more stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that helps Flint get to the top.
Oh yeah. You're there. I mean, you're definitely there.
Flint has spent what we need to complete the objective.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
You got 5 extra successes. Is there anything you want to do with them?
I could do with those.
There's no really blood around here to drink, unfortunately, because you bypassed all the guys getting up there. So
maybe there's a person at the top.
Let's just say
to land on and absolutely feast.
Describe the horror of you absolutely feasting on this guy. You've got 5 successes. You can take 5 blood points from him as you tear him to pieces. But tell us what it looks like.
So what happens is Flint is moving so fast. As he comes across, he just beheads the dude with his feet claws. And he just holds the head up and just sucks all the blood from the neck, and then just discards the head when he's done, like a bowling ball down the road or down the pathway.
I love it. So you guys,
it's like grabbing the waste not, want not, Flint, waste not, want not, and she's gonna grab the head.
So the head comes tumbling by. Arena grabs it by the hair. The body tumbles off, sort of drenches Chuck a little bit in blood, and then the elevator doors ping, and Cosgrave walks out, and you guys, the 4 of you, are at the top of the Eiffel Tower, facing the entrance to the Fuhrer's Zeppelin. You hear the sirens going off. The Zeppelin is lighted on the inside. You have no doubt that some of the Fuhrer's crack troops are in here preparing to deal with you. You expect he may even have some of the Vampirjäger cadre that have been trained to specifically deal with vampires.
That was easy.
Oh, I know. And Arena takes another cigarette out and she's just like, I thought that was going to be much more difficult than it is. I barely broke a sweat.
You know, that stuff's going to kill you one day. Let's go inside.
And you remember from the layout that this was a repurposed dirigible, but that it's been outfitted with marble and silk, gold and mahogany, with grand staircases in it leading to mezzanine levels. It's loaded with Hitler's own paintings, and all of the art and treasures that he's stolen and looted throughout Europe and North Africa and Tibet. You also realize your critical objective, is to get to Hitler's broadcast suite that he broadcasts from. If he's going to be anywhere in the Zeppelin, it is going to be there. But that is at the front of the Zeppelin, and you have to move your way through the entire Zeppelin to get there. Who would like to take their first step onto the Zeppelin?
Arena would like to do that because I want to roll so that I can try to get some blood from this.
I like it.
Will I be able to get an advance from this or no? Because it was just a regular person, not
just a regular dude.
Damn. Okay, then Arena will still go.
It's actually a Nazi, not a dude. Dudes we like. Nazis
That's right.
We don't.
He was a Nazi.
Yes,
an
yes,
absolute bastard
very
Nazi.
Important. Yes, bastard indeed.
I know a bunch of dudes who got a ranch. They're really nice.
Yes. Those ranchers, indeed.
And I ain't from the old West there, Cosgrave. I'm from the Oklahoma, the Great Plains.
I haven't visited.
Mm-hmm. There ain't much to see. It's just really flat.
So Arena moves in.
Yeah. So,
Are you trying to sneak, or how are you approaching this?
I think I'm going to kind of do what let's see. I'm gonna summon a swarm of bats.
Nice.
I'm gonna just cause chaos.
Describe what that looks like.
So Arena kind of finishes her cigarette and she kind of tosses it down and kind of twists her feet, and she just says, "Can everyone just give me a little bit of space, And she's been wearing this kind of suit, and you just see she kind of takes the kind of long coat, and you just see her sort of kind of put her arms out, and she just sort of flaps this coat. And as she just kind of continues flapping and flapping and flapping, then you just suddenly see this swarm of bats come out that is under her control.
I love it. So these bats swarm in, and you see out of the shadows near the entrance of this Zeppelin these vampire hunters that you'd heard of, and they're pulling silver daggers and stakes out. So how is it that you engage with them as they're moving towards you with these bats?
So these bats are basically just going to go full on attack formation. So they're just going to kind of swarm and just, hit them, confuse them, just kind of bat them about the head, as it were.
So is it going to be brawl, terrify, shoot?
I think terrify.
I love it.
Is what I would like to go for. So that's going to be 3, and then +1 for Knights Willing Servants.
Mm-hmm.
This does not qualify as an old building, the Zeppelin or the Eiffel Tower, I don't believe, in this time frame. So just rolling the 4 dice.
Okay.
Flint looks at you so confused. Like, where the fuck did you get these bats?
And probably a little
offended?
Not so keen on the idea that they're like under her control, not sort of independent bats that make their own decisions. That is a lolly and a 6.
Nice. So that's 4 successes.
Yes.
What you saw is from the closest vampire hunter shook something at you, and you feel a stream of holy water come arcing towards you. They got 3 successes. How would you like to allocate your points? Your objective in getting the objective for the Fuhrer's Zeppelin is a 6. You only need to get 6 to get through this objective and get to the broadcast suite.
Okay. So Arena will take 2 for defense and 2 towards the objective.
Okay. So your bats push through and crush past a few of these. You're able to move deeper into the Zeppelin, but you do take an injury. Roll a d6.
Yes, this is fun. This is fun seeing where these injuries come from. That's what I was hoping for. It's a headshot. So I get +2 to my brawl and -2 to my con.
So what's it look like when this holy water it hits your raw scalp? And
Exactly. Because like her hair was already ruined and kind of torn up before, and so that is exactly the spot where all of this.
So you feel this burning into your brain, and it just sends you into a rage as this holy water just starts to eat away at your skull. Who, as Arena screams and begins, smoke begins to come off of her already ruined scalp. Who Arena is next to act against these vampire hunters in this Zeppelin?
Yeah, so as we kind of just talked about, kind of feeling a little sheepish at Flint being kind of independent bat and kind of releasing all of these bats under control, she will see what Flint does next.
You know what? I got one more use in my steel claws. Let's do some brawling.
I love it.
So I get 2 for that. Yeah. Oh god, I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
So did I. Because for these guys, 6s count as 2s, just like for you.
Damn.
6 on 6. How do you want to handle this? How do you want to allocate your successes?
So first, I would like to spend, if I can, 2 blood to reduce their threat difficulty by 1.
Absolutely. So we'll take one of those 6s away and we'll reduce it to 4 successes.
Okay, yeah. So then I will use the 4 to block and then the other 2 to advance.
Okay, so what's it look like as you push through these vampire hunters and get deeper in the Zeppelin?
So Flint does, like, I imagine, like, at this point, Flint still has some of their momentum from coming up the tower, and so they roll through, and he screeches some shit at the other bats and helps redirect them into a better attack plan. And together, they kind of like rip at these guys, go for the eyes and everything as Flint moves between the bats to continue into the room.
So you see these bats, this swarm of bats. They hit one of these guys, and they peel his face off of his head, and he goes falling back and screaming and knocks another one of these vampire hunters back, and you've got a clear path through this hallway going deeper towards the broadcast center. Who do you think would be behind you? Cosgrave or Chuck?
Let's roll a die. That would be Chuck.
What? Hi, sorry, I was just thinking of funny things about Oklahoma. Oh, hey, there's a bunch of dead people on the ground. Okay, here we go, guns blazing. Pow, pow, pow.
As he starts running in, he's gonna look for, I guess what he wants to do is he wants to try to find, like, he's looking around desperately for like the way in. He wants to find like the door into the area, like to see whether it's like, is it reinforced? Is it like, does it look like it's like specially kind of specially designed to kind of keep folks out? Does it look like a modern day pilot door or something like that?
Now, when you're looking down the hall, you see it's a large, thick mahogany double door. I mean, the inside of this Zeppelin is made up to look like a palace. So you don't think it's specially reinforced because the Fuhrer never imagined anybody other than his closest counsel ever being on his Zeppelin. But it's at the end of this hall. It opens up into a little atrium, and then you see these double doors right in front of you. And you guys are very close to them at this point.
Okay, he's gonna run up to him. And I think what he wants to do is he wants to, I'm going to say that they're probably like, so run into the atrium, looking around, plants? Who puts plants on a freaking, why is there, whatever. And then I want to basically try to use my fix ability to essentially like rig the doors to explode inward.
So like it kind of creates this like breaching charge basically
Mhm.
to throw them in. And be like, hey y'all, when it opens up and we come popping in, I want everyone to say surprise. Okay, it'll be funny. It'll be Cosgrave. It'll be funny. Ah, man. So he's gonna try to
Give yourself a bonus dice for that as you run up and affix explosives to blow the doors as these vampire hunters are coming at you.
I'm gonna use my
Jesus
tool
Christ.
belt and hopefully my jury rigging.
Sorry for my cursing there, but I rolled 6 dice and I did not get above a 2 on 6 dice.
That's terrible.
It's
It
a
is
little bit how
terrible.
I was rolling earlier.
Oh.
God.
I have rolled the opposite, my friend. I've rolled 3 6s and 3 1s. That was I do this a lot where I like roll like really high and 3 6s and 3 1s.
So you're being swarmed by these vampire hunters as you affix these explosives. So what's it look like when you
Stop. Get down. Stop. I'm trying to do something. He just grabs him. Okay. Jay. Oh, that's minty. Why do you taste minty? I don't know. And then this other one comes up. So like there's probably, I guess, 3 of them. So the other one kind of gets on him, like kind of pulling on him, like, Cosgrave, leave me alone. Cosgrave. Oh, you ain't Cosgrave. Here, come here. And gets him too. And then like, hey, you fella, come here. I'm not going to hurt you. No, I want to show you something. You see, this is what I'm doing. This here little wire goes to this little charge, okay? No, look close. No, a little bit closer. Closer. And then he will let it go off. And he's basically just dripping now, and like the necks and the viscera of all these different Nazis on the ground. And he's like, oh, even better. This is even better. He's gonna fix the bodies up onto the wall so they fly in with the door at the same time. Again, everyone, we're gonna say surprise. Okay.
Yes,
Everyone?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. So six successes. I'll put it all towards like the objective or whatever.
So you bypass the objective. Explain what it looks like when these doors and corpses go blowing into Hitler's broadcast suite.
So I wanted to just go in more than I intended. Like I want it to be overwhelming. Like Chuck doesn't know how to do things like in the middle. It's either he goes all out, and so the door just comes in more as shrapnel than as like one solid piece, and it just kind of rains left and right. So there's any windows you hear like ting 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 as like the windows start to crack here and there. The bodies just explode. And he was thinking they were all going to be in like one big piece and everything. So in addition to like this massive like shrapnel, it's just everything's coated in red. And you just see like little things. Once the dust settles, you see little drips of blood here and there. So whoever's on the inside is now like coated and like shards of Nazi bone and mahogany wood and dripping with blood. Okay, everybody, surprise!
Surprise.
That boy, Flynn, good job. You really worked on your enunciation.
And what you see is a suite that had once been, opulent, with great banners hanging from every walls and iron basalt lecterns standing atop a staircase. And this entire room has been shredded by shrapnel and blood. From behind the lectern, which is still standing at the top of the staircase, you see a terrified face of a man with slicked black hair and a tiny mustache, completely gaunt with fear and terror, gibbering. But before him, at the bottom of the stairs, something shakes the rubble off and stands up. And it's the one thing you've heard whispers of since Fang was formed 6 months ago. The dreaded Nazi werewolf Werehund stands. And he's got electrodes in his body, and he's got these cables flowing with fluid between something on his back, these huge claws, and this great fanged maw. And you hear them clicking and scraping, and he lets out a horrendous howl. And it's the only thing standing between you and Hitler's blood is the Werehund. So Werehund is itself a challenge, a threat. So it's a threat of 10, and it's the last challenge you have to get past to get to Hitler's blood.
Before we left the other room, would I have been able to search for an equipment?
Sure.
Or is that too fast?
Give me a short search roll.
2 successes.
I will say you get 2 uses back of any one piece of equipment that you've got.
Excellent. Thank you.
You are welcome. And as you guys move in through these shattered windows from the explosion, you see the full moon hanging ominously in the sky outside of the dirigible. The howling from the room seems to echo out of the dirigible and around the city. You see the mutilated corpses from the exploding door around the werehund's feet as it picks up the entrails of one and stuffs it in its mouth. What do you do? And who goes first?
Would since I took the head of never mind. I asked a question earlier. Never mind. Somebody go.
I vote Cosgrave because I don't think you got a turn last round, right?
And I will say, you drink his blood, you do get to activate an advantage. So if you haven't had that opportunity yet, feel free to take a snack. Cosgrave, what would you like to do?
I'm going to point at one of the Nazis in the room.
Well, there's only the werehund in the room and Hitler. Everything else is dead except for you guys. And you technically are dead too. But I mean, there's plenty of bodies. I mean, like if you want to reform a corpse, there's plenty of viscera and limbs about.
Yeah, it was more of the point where if the Nazi died, he would explode because of my death burst ability.
Mm-hmm.
Just say one of the guys that I was feeding on didn't quite. Yeah.
Yeah, it's your fiction. If you want to say one of the vampire hunters stumbles in, go for it.
Right, yeah. One of the vampire hunters still standing. I point at him, whispers a little chant, and you see his arms, his limbs start to engorge, and he just bursts.
I love it. He tries to form the words Mein Führer, but he turns into this giant pulsing bloated muscle thing before he explodes. So what are you doing with this explosion?
Wants to reduce the threat of this werewolf, try to get him distracted or injured in some way.
So he sees this start to happen, and this werewolf lunges at you with its rending claws as you try to harm it.
Got 3 successes, 3 5s.
You got 6 successes. How would you like to allocate that?
We do still have dice if you want to reroll as well.
True.
Okay, I'll spend 200 to reroll 1.
Okay.
Oh, it's a crit. Sweet. So I get
Nice.
5.
Okay, so it had 6.
I'll
Good
spend
call,
3 to
actually.
defend the attack,
Okay, so you reduce it to 3.
and then 2 to eliminate the threats. So I want this explosion to pretty much try and blow off one of these limbs or fingers of this werewolf.
Okay, so when you say eliminate the threat, is that a special ability or
No,
what's...
I was trying to allocate the dice. It says
Okay. Oh, so you're reducing its threat. Yeah, I got you. Okay, so you take... So describe what it looks like when you blow apart one of its forearms.
yeah, the vampire hunter that blew up creates a blood explosion that pretty much rips one of his arm from his shoulder, sends it flying across the room.
Nice. So this werewolf's arm gets shredded, but its other claw comes across and rakes deep into you, and you take 3. Now, it has a special ability. It's rending claws. So I need you to roll a d6 twice. And tell me your injuries.
A 2 and a 6.
Okay, so what's 2 for you?
Lost some fingers.
Okay, what's the second one on 2 for you?
My arm is ripped off.
So he returns the favor and tears your arm off.
So both of our arms just go flying across
Yep,
the room.
they go flying across the room in different directions. What's the 6 for you?
6 of my wards are compromised again.
And the second one was
That was the grimoire damage. Second is the wards.
okay. So so your grimoire is damaged and your wards are shattered as well. So you're down to your last 2 injuries. Who's next? This one-armed werewolf just tore deeply into Cosgrave, ripping his arm off and disrupting his magic. Cosgrave, who's going next?
Let's see, you'll do Chuck.
Okay.
Chuck, you see this.
That's one hot dog right there. Here, little puppet boy. Here, little puppet.
So can we say that the guy, like you said he had like all these different like wires and contraptions and stuff on him of some kind. Can we say some of that is metal, like the casket?
Oh, it definitely is. Definitely.
Okay.
He's got metal all over. He's a cyborg werewolf.
Okay, perfect. So he's just gonna come here, come on, a little bit close.
The wolf closes with you.
And then he's going to pull out his guns, and then he's going to go the full barrage, fire his guns, and he's going to spit a big honking acidic loogie. So there's just like this aerial assault just coming from Chuck. Just going crazy. Okay.
Wonderful.
Because it was the last thing I had to use because he has acid spit. All right.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I got a 1, 1, 1, 2, 3.
You're all
What an
terrible
awesome
against
roll.
me. It's crazy.
I almost killed Cosgrave, and Jesus.
All right, so
I got zero
one.
successes.
All right,
That's
I gotta add up
wonderful.
my thing.
It's horrid.
Right.
I'm appreciating
Yeah.
just how just impotent this thing is at trying to do its job. It's appreciated.
Okay.
I just wanted to kill one of you.
Oh, I'm not
Right.
going to heal anymore, so I'm
God
3
damn.
in.
We don't have the 4 thing right now, right?
No.
Okay, because I just rolled 4 of them, or 3 of them, excuse me. So that's 5 total successes. One of them was a
Okay.
crit. I'm going to use my 1 to feast on him.
Okay,
so as
so-
I'm firing, blood's coming out, and he's just like, hey, like a frog. His giant lashing tongue just goes out and just grabs this and grabs that. Like spinach. I'm like Papa. Oh. And then, did he have any successes back at me? You said
No, 0.
all right.
I rolled absolute crap.
Oh dear, I feel kind of bad. I'm just. Do we know how much threat he's got left?
He's 8. He's got 8 left.
I will do 5 then to him.
All right. What's it look like as you're shredding into this guy, into this werehund?
I feel like in between each one of the tongue, his massive tongue coming out and lashing this piece, he's just unleashing all of these bullets. He's shooting, he's spitting this giant loogie out, and that like wears away maybe like a plate that's been infused to protect it. And then as that gets burned down, the bullets come through, and then there's the explosion of blood, the tongue comes out, and then it continues to go. And eventually as he gets nice and close, he's just like, as he just shoves his face right into the middle of where that plate has now been dissolved and the bullets are.
So who is following behind Chuck? As Chuck has buried his head into the chest cavity of this Nazi cyborg werewolf.
He is just so Chuck is gonna every time he's like, so his head's down in his food, and then he comes up and he starts to talk, and you can see he's chewing on little bits of flesh. He's like, hey Flint, come on, let's get some dog eat dog world. Come on. Wait, you're not a dog, whatever.
And it tastes like sweat and raw meat and cheap leather.
Oh, man.
Okay.
I love me some cheap leather. Oh, baby.
So I'm gonna spend 2 of my blood to unleash a hellish screech. So it's one of my advances. I'm gonna reduce its threat by 1.
Nice.
And then I am going to brawl with this dude.
Sweet.
I'm gonna use my steel claws.
That's more like it.
And I'm gonna be getting even more blood. Jesus. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
I also got 5 successes.
Man, okay. So I want to spend 1 audience die to re-roll my 2.
Okay.
And I got a 4. Those count.
Nice. Yes, they do.
Okay, so I'm gonna spend the 3 that we need to advance, and then the remainder, the other 3 to block.
So what's it look like when Flint kills the werewolf?
Oh, wait, I want to spend 2 to block because I want 1 to eat.
Mhm.
Okay.
You get to eat him. I mean,
Okay.
but you did. He only had 2 left.
So Flint is ravenous and surprise as he latches onto his neck because that's his new word that he's learned, and he's very happy. And he just latches onto the werewolf's neck, rips out the jugular, and then continues to gnaw until he gets to spine. And then he happily pulls that out and keeps it as like a trophy.
I love it. So what we see is you see Chuck's head pull out as Flint dives in and gnaws through this thing's throat, and this 3-foot tall bat thing pushes its way up into this werewolf's skull and distends and cracks the spine and then pops its head off like a helmet. And the werewolf falls.
I'm wearing the head.
Wearing the head like a helmet. And all 4 of you, all 4 vampire commandos, Chuck, Irina, Flint, Cosgrave, you're covered in the blood of Nazis. A hard night. Some of you don't have all of your arms. Some of you have suffered pretty seriously. But from behind the lectern, you see this mewling, sad little Austrian, pale, gibbering, almost mindless in terror now. The stench of defecation and urine wafting off of him as you fall upon the Fuhrer and drain every last drop of blood from his body before you throw him out one of the shattered windows of the Zeppelin to fall, landing on an ice sculpture in the middle of the garden party, snapping his spine and leaving his desiccated corpse in Paris. As the sun begins to rise in the east and you fly this treasure trove Zeppelin away from Paris and towards London, as you have successfully drained Hitler of all his blood and thwarted the Nazi war machine. Thanks, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Yeah.
You know, this would be great for like 3 or 4 sessions where you could actually really hit all of the locations. I just pulled out a few of the cooler ones for this one shot to show everybody what it was like, but I had a lot of fun with this. Rowan, Rook, and Decard always makes amazing games, and I was just excited to have an opportunity to get this out and play it. For the rules that I screwed up out there, please feel free to tell me about them, all about them. We've only had a few days to look this game over, but I really wanted to give it a shot. So thanks for bearing with us. Thanks to all of my vampire players for getting into the thick of things and drinking a lot of blood and having a good time. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Jeff.
All right. And Aaron, that was awesome. Thank you so much. I thought that was a lot of fun. And I think we know who the best Chuck is, right? All right. So what do we got going on? We are off tomorrow. We've said this a couple times. We finished up Wondering last week, so we're going to take a little well-deserved time off. And what we are, as I just mentioned in chat earlier, we are cooking up a Call of Cthulhu campaign that's going to eventually take the time slot that Wondering was in. We're going to do a couple one-shots before we fully launch it. But for tomorrow specifically, no game for us. Monday we'll be back though. We're going to be playing some Fragged Empire, the sci-fi game that we started about a month ago. So very excited. We might actually dive into some combat for the first time. Tuesday, you can see Aaron, Melissa, myself, and Kipser and Steven as we're going to be playing some Marvel Multiverse role-playing game, our X-Men themed game. And then next Thursday, if you liked werewolves and you'd rather have some competent ones, unlike this dude that we just destroyed, come check out Thursday. Or if you're just a big fan of Burger King and weird flirting, then come watch that too, because we have a little of that as well.
Yeah. If you hate wearing shoes, come on down.
So that's what we got going. Check out the YouTube page as well, Adventures in Lollygagging. We got all our games going on over there, both the ones that we're playing live right now, like Monster of the Week and Delta Green, but also plenty of games that we've been playing over the last few years as well. Hopefully you'll be able to find something that you like, that you enjoy. But that's it for us. Thank you to those of you who hung out tonight throughout some bits. Thank you to Lost Caravan RPG for the raid. If you haven't followed them yet and you follow us, go follow them because they're awesome. And if you came over in that raid, consider following us. That'd be great. We're gonna raid our buddies over at the Defenders of Cobalt so we can see Chuck number 2 for tonight. But have a great night, everybody. We'll see you.
Good night.
Bye.